we have to start the conversation discussing senescent cells, Alessandra. These are zombie cells that can be inflammatory. They could actually lead to rapid aging. I would love for you to share how these zombie cells are contributing to inflammation and aging throughout the body and how they show up on our skin, especially underneath the eyes and areas that are prone to wrinkling and sagging.
Yes. So the senescent cells, a lot of people are not familiar with this name. I like to call them also zombie cells. They're cells that accumulate damage over time and they secrete inflammation. And what this inflammation that these damaged cells is doing is making the other healthy cells also become damaged and become senescent cells.
So
That's why.
the zombie cells are infecting other cells.
Exactly, exactly. And why these cells are accumulating, this is with aging. It's the process of having those senescent cells is normal to our body, but when we are young and you have a senescent cell, our body eliminates this cell. But with aging, they start to accumulate. And it's the accumulation of those senescent cells that deteriorates the tissue. And for instance, on the skin, the deterioration leads to collagen breakdown, leads to a thinner skin. And what you see is the wrinkles, the sagging, and the loss of dullness on your skin. And what's causing those senescent cells to accumulate? We have the aging process, but also external factors, and specifically on the skin, UV radiation, pollution, a lot of like stress that's coming from the outside can be inducing those senescent cells to form on the skin. But they form on all our body, not only on the skin. And it's very dependent on lifestyle and how you're treating your body over time. And also, there's a genetic component as well.
Yeah, yeah. That's interesting about the senescent cells. Yeah, when it happens in the immune system, they turn into immunosenescent cells, which could lead to autoimmune conditions. So it is a problem when they run rampant and start infecting other cells. And of course, the aesthetics of it. We all want to have great looking skin. Not all, we don't want to have sagging skin and all these wrinkles. So it sounds like tackling these senescent um, the reproduction or the production of these senescent cells is the name of the game. You mentioned UV radiation, which you're referring to sunlight, like sunburning. I'd
Yeah.
love to talk to you about that because the sun is incredibly healing and it's
Mhm.
amazing for the mitochondria, but also too much of it could age you. So, what are your thoughts on getting sun but not getting burned and preserving your skin health?
Yeah, the trick is exactly what you said. Get the benefits of sun without burning your skin. So this will be very personal depending on the skin type that you have and where in the earth are you located. If you have more UV index versus like places that has a low UV index. But a general rule for me is like the sun cannot burn your skin. If it's burning, it's generating damage and you're not getting the benefits of the sun exposure. So sun exposure in early times on the day, later times of the day, they are usually good for your overall health. Peak time, summertime, if you're on a place, a tropical place, if you have fair skin, protect your skin from the sun because once you start burning, you're damaging. And that
Mhm.
damage is leading to the formation and accumulation of those zombie cells, which is accelerating the aging process on your skin.
And what's interesting is that a lot of people that use sunscreen use these really toxic sunscreens that are linked to different diseases out there, which we won't mention. You guys over at OneSkin actually have a non-toxic sunscreen, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But I'm curious about the senescent cells. You mentioned the collagen degradation with somebody who eats a high processed food diet, like high in sugar, high fructose corn syrup. Is that accelerating the process of senescent cells?
Absolutely. Like a lot of like excess of sugar leads to the formation of glycation products. So the sugar can bind to the collagen protein and can create dysfunction on this collagen. So lifestyle diet interferes on your skin aging and interferes on your overall health. But specifically accumulation like high intakes of glucose, of sugar, processed sugar is the word. It can be helping the acceleration of the skin aging as well.
Just another reason why you don't want to get those glucose and insulin spikes. It's going to age you fast. It's going to strip the collagen, and it's true. Sugar is sticky. I remember when I was a kid, and I used to go to the fair, and I got cotton candy, and I would eat it with my hands. Right, that cotton candy would stick to my fingers, which is protein. Right, so that's what's happening inside of your cells. It's binding to the collagen, stripping the collagen, creating senescent cells, and making you look older, which none of us want that. Okay, so that's important. Nutrition is important. In the skincare industry is massive. I don't know what it makes each year, but I know there's a lot of companies out there that talk about these skincare products, and a lot of them are toxic. And what I love about OneSkin is that you have a lot of research behind your company and it's non-toxic ingredients. But I'd love for you to debunk or share what are the biggest myths out there in the skincare and anti-aging space that you wish more people would understand or understood from a scientific perspective.
I think for me, the one that I most love about it is that skin aging is not only about appearance and wrinkles formation. So the skin is our largest organ, and the aging process, the accumulation of damage or inflammation on your skin because of the size of this organ, is contributing to your overall load of inflammation in your body. So when we're talking about preventing skin aging, like reducing the formation of senescent cells, reducing the wrinkles, it's not only for a more aesthetic skin and look, but it's to improve your overall health. And that connection for me as a scientist was like a breakthrough of how interesting is to work with skin, because it can do way more than just your appearance, which is very important. We want to look good.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong there, but it's associated with your overall health. So reducing cellular senescence on your skin is helping your body to lower levels of inflammation. And we did a clinical study with our OS1 body, our body product that contains our peptide. We just published the manuscript with the data of this study. And we collected the blood of participants aged 60 plus, so more older participants that has more accumulation of senescent cells. And we measured the inflammatory level on their blood, like how
Wow.
was the inflammation in their blood. And after 3 months of using OS1 body in their whole body, we measured again, and we had a control group that used a different product. And we were able to see that the group that was using OneSkin, it was able to improve the skin barrier function, and it was able to have IL-8 levels decrease on their blood. So this correlation, and this is being shown by other researchers as well, that the skin is super important to reduce inflammation inside of your body. It's getting more, we are learning more about it. And this is what excites me. So the big myth is, if you think like skin aging is just wrinkles and you want to get rid of wrinkles, no, skin aging is also like overall health.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, inflammation is the name of the game. That's a
Yeah.
interesting study. So what is it about the one skin body you mentioned in that study that they're applying that helped lower inflammation? You said that you looked at that marker in 3 months, which is a short amount of time. What is it in the ingredients of that product that helped accomplish that?
Yeah. So the main ingredient on all our products is a proprietary molecule that we found in our research that's specifically reducing the accumulation of senescent cells. So it's the OS1 peptide. And this is a molecule that you only find on our product. So when we compare to another product, does not contain this main ingredient. And what we see is that when we reduce the senescence level on the skin, you improve the skin barrier function. And when you improve your skin barrier function, you have less also of damage getting to your skin. You will have less of senescence inducement, and this lower the inflammation on your skin, and consequently lower the inflammation on your whole body. So
Mm.
that's what we measure later on. When you remove a sample of the blood, there's less inflammation in the blood.
That makes sense. That's really cool. I love that you have the research to back it up as well. And what's interesting about the skin cells, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but they regenerate about every month or so, every 30 days. Is that correct?
Yeah, the upper layer of our skin, that's the epidermis, is formed by a cell type called keratinocytes, and those cells are constantly being renewed and reproducing. With aging, their cell renewal reduce, and the stem cells that are like being on the basal that are supporting this regrowth of the skin is also being reduced. So that also contributes to the skin aging process. And senescent cells is reducing the activity of senescent of stem cells, of the stem cells in that skin as well. So by reducing senescent cells, you also like keep those stem cells on a healthy environment so they can rejuvenate and reproduce the skin more constantly.
One of the processes that I talk a lot about on this podcast and also in my my new book, Metabolic Freedom, is autophagy. I think a lot of
Yeah.
the listeners and watchers are familiar with autophagy, this body's the body's self cleaning process that is activated through, people know, through like fasting and movement and these hormetic stressors. But is there a way with your products that you're stimulating autophagy topically? Is that what you're doing here?
In some indirectly, yes.
Okay.
When you are reducing the inflammation on the skin by reducing the senescent cells, this kind of like induce some autophagy on the old senescent cells that are in the skin, but very topically. It's not inducing that systemically. So any type of fasting, when you're doing fasting, you are stimulating autophagy on your whole body. This includes also skin. The complement of this approach with the topical approach is that that's more directed only on the skin.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask me about the bags underneath the eyes. It's a big concern. It's been a big concern in my life because I've always just naturally have like I guess it's very thin layer of skin there. What are the top causes to those dark circles underneath the eye? And I know there's a product that I've been using. Your product, what is it called? The eye one?
Yeah, OS1 eye, one skin eye.
OS1 eye. Yeah. So I've been using that each night. Um, what are the top causes to that? And then explain how the product works to help that.
It's super interesting that when we found this molecule and decided to create products to apply this on your skin, we developed the OS1 face that contains the peptide and can be applied on your whole face, including around the eyes. But then our research started to show that the skin around the eye, if you measure the biological age, this was a study that came out that measured the biological age of the skin under the eye, on your eyelid, and compared to temples and forehead. And the skin around the eye is 20 to 30 years older than the
No
rest.
way.
And that was mind blowing to me
20
as
to 30 years older?
well. Exactly.
Oh, no.
I know that it's the first place that shows the signs of aging, but I was not expecting that was so accelerated the process
Gosh.
there. And that's mainly because the skin around the eye is thinner, so it's more susceptible to damage. And it's thinner, so it allows the movements of our eyes. So it has a reason why it's thinner, but also it contributes to more accumulation of the
Yeah.
senescent cells. And senescent cells cause dysfunction in the tissue. It causes melanin dysfunction as well. That's why you have like more of the darkness around that area. And there's more accumulation of those senescent cells. So we developed the OS1 eye with a higher concentration of the peptide. And
Mm.
we researched this new cream. We partnered with a dermatologist. We received samples from blepharoplastic surgery, so pieces of skin from under the eye and the eyelid, and all the testing for this formula was made on this skin, that specifically the skin around your eye. So we were able to optimize and increase the concentration of the peptide in this formula, and we saw that by doing that, we could reduce even more the inflammation and damage caused by the senescent cells.
How fast would you notice those results? Like, how fast did you see those results in the studies?
In studies, we do see after 6 weeks and 12 weeks. Usually, like all our studies, they are at the minimum 12 weeks, 3 months. And when we're talking about cellular senescence, there's no quick fix here. Things like are constant use and over time, especially because we're still exposing ourselves to the aging process. So it's not that you do one thing and you solve, but we clearly see on our clinical studies improvement on the elasticity and firmness of the skin around the eye, more significant after 12 weeks.
And the OS1i, you would just use that right before bed, or would you also use it in the morning? What's the best? How's the best way to use that?
The best way, it's twice a day, at least once a. And it all depends on how much damage you have already on your skin, in which path you are on your skincare routine. But at the minimum, at night is always a good time to take care of your skincare, because you will go to bed, you will sleep, and your body's really using that time to restore, to clean toxins. So it's a good time to apply your skincare. But to maximize, you can also apply in the morning.
Okay. Well, what do you think is contributing to that? A lot of people say, and I'm talking about the dark circles underneath the eyes. I know there's several, it's multifactorial. Some people say it's liver health, it's kidney health, it's mold toxicity. But do you have any thoughts to why so many people have those dark circles?
There are also a genetic component there.
That's mine. That's me.
Yeah, and that's the hardest one to treat, because it's coming more from your DNA as well. But you can always try to minimizing damage that is contributing to increase the appearance of those dark circles.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It's hard. Even like our product does not completely eliminate dark circles.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
it's cool that you see improvements within, you said 12
yeah,
weeks. A lot of your studies are 12 weeks. I want to circle back to the sunscreen conversation. So many people ask me, "What's a healthy sunscreen?" And for years, I would say, "I never wear sunscreen." And I live in Miami, and I get sun, but I don't get burned. But a lot of
mhm,
people get burned easily, and I usually see people that are susceptible to sunburns are usually those who are eating a lot of rancid seed oils, processed carbohydrates, are not necessarily healthy, and they burn fast. When I got rid of all that, I burned a lot less. But there is a time and place to where to use a sunscreen that is non-toxic, and I know you guys have one over at OneSkin. So on Sundays, I play basketball outside in Miami for a couple of hours, so I'll put a little bit of that on me because I don't want to burn. Could you share more about your sunscreen and why it's free of these toxic ingredients that you find in traditional sunscreens?
yeah. So our sunscreen is a mineral sunscreen. So it's using zinc oxide as the main ingredient to promote the sun block. And we associate with the zinc oxide our peptide. So we added our peptide. So as you are using the sunscreen, the peptide is also helping reduce damage that may be coming even if you have the sunscreen. And we also have a very rich blend of antioxidants, which is also like the UV radiation is creating free radicals. So the sunscreen from OneSkin, it's almost a skincare sunscreen, because it's not only doing the function of blocking from the UV damage, but it's also treating any kind of excess of UV radiation damage that's coming through. It's being repaired by the presence of the OS1 peptide, and it's being also repaired by the antioxidants.
Okay, that makes sense. So that's a good resource for those who want a healthy sunscreen.
Yeah.
Um, OneSkin makes a really good one. My bathroom is stocked with all your products. It's fun to use them all and see how it works.
Yeah,
What?
so it just in
Yeah.
the topic of like safe products, at OneSkin we run tests, sensitization tests with all our products on sensitive skin to confirm. We are very like rigorous on the process of confirming that we are not causing any type of toxicity. So aside of lab data, we also confirm on using testing those products on sensitive skin and doing some specific tests that confirms that they're safe for sensitive skin.
I love it. And that was one of the first things that when your team reached out, I'm a big proponent of avoiding these toxic ingredients, toxic chemicals in our environment, especially in the skincare industry. So one of the first things I asked is, do you guys have like scientific, let me see the ingredients. Do you have scientific research? And you checked all the boxes, and that's why we're having the conversation here. So I appreciate that you did that. I'm curious though, like you're the co-founder of OneSkin.
Yeah.
What in the world like got you into the skincare industry? Like it's such a big industry. Like what made you get involved with this?
It's crazy. I mean, me and my co-founders, we're all scientists, and if you asked us 8 years ago, 9 years ago, if we would see ourselves like having a line of skincare products, we would say no. But we started the company to understand, and the first goal was to build a platform that would test the products that are in the market and see if they can reverse the biological age of the skin. Meaning, are the products in the market that claims to be anti-aging, do they really promote true rejuvenation? So that was our first idea when we moved to San Francisco and started OneSkin. And the results very fast, they came showing that products either don't do anything to your skin, which was okay, but a lot of them can accelerate the aging process, can increase more inflammation on your skin. And at the same time, there was a lot of like research coming out on the role of the senescent cells as a key driver of aging in the body. And we create the hypothesis that a molecule that would reduce senescent cells on the skin would promote true rejuvenation on the skin. So we started to screen molecules. So we went from testing products to screen molecules that would reduce senescence on the skin. And after screening almost 1,000 peptides, we identified the one that we named OS1, and that's reducing up to 50% the load of senescent cells on the skin. And we thought about that we would license this. So we were still a group of scientists in the lab, and we thought we would license. But as scientists, we also shared the desire of one day translating our science and seeing the benefits on people. So when we started to talk to big companies to license our products, the process was so like difficult and slow. And we looked to each other and said, what about if we bring this to the market? And we got so excited about the idea of bringing our science to life, that without imagining the hard part, we were like, let's do it. And some people said, you're crazy, you're a scientist, the market is completely crowded, you will not be able to break through. But we trust so much the science, and we knew that there was a gap in the market of real products that has science behind it,
Hmm.
that we decided to bring to the market. And now we launched our first product in 2021, and this past years we have doing the research to expand this line, and we have now 6 products in the market.
That's awesome. I could just hear the excitement. I love it. I think it's great because there's not a lot of companies in the skincare industry that have all this science behind it. You guys are pretty rare.
Yeah.
And that resonates with me. I think it resonates with my audience because it's not just theory. You've actually spent a lot of money, did a lot of these research experiments, these clinical trials, and you actually publish it
Yeah.
on your website. It's like easy to access. So I think that's fantastic. For those watching and listening, you could actually get OneSkin, any of the products. If you go to one, so that's ONE, oneskin.co/freedom, and you use the coupon code freedom, you could get 15% off your first order. And we'll drop that link in the notes down below. One of the best predictors that will determine how long you live is VO2 max. VO2 max is the maximum amount of oxygen your body can use during intense exercise, indicating your aerobic and cardiovascular health. Now, what if there was a way to improve your VO2 max, which may extend your lifespan at the same time, help you build muscle and burn fat in a fraction of the time that it would take to go to the gym? Well, I'm referring to the 𝙬𝙬 bike. And I gotta tell you, I've been using my 𝙬𝙬 bike for weeks and I absolutely love this machine. The 𝙬𝙬 bike was developed with leading exercise researchers to deliver the shortest, most effective workouts. Their signature re-hit workouts create the most potent training stimulus in just two 20-second sprints. It's scientifically proven to deliver superior health and fitness benefits compared to regular cardio exercise in 90% less time. Unfortunately, 95% of Americans don't exercise, and their number one reason is they don't have time. Well, the cool thing with the 𝙬𝙬 bike is that the workouts are only 5 to 8 minutes long, and you just do 2 to 3 workouts per week, and you'll get all of these amazing results.
results. As a subscriber to my YouTube channel, 𝙎𝙬𝙎𝘍 is offering you $250 off your bike. Head over to 𝙎𝙬𝙎𝑐𝑜𝑚/freedom and use the coupon code FREEDOM for $250 off. We'll also drop that information in the notes down below.
One of the products that you recently launched is the OS1 hair. I'd love for you to talk about that, why you created that, and what that will do when people use it.
Yeah. So the OS1 hair is also a continuation of our research, as we understand that the scalp tissue is the continuation of the skin. It's still skin tissue, but with more hair follicles. And we started to dig into what was published about hair growth. And there is a lot of, not a lot, but there is some research showing that senescent cells accumulate with the aging on the hair follicle and leads to hair thinning and eventually hair loss. So there are publications even that collected on people that has alopecia. They collected some hair follicles from areas that has a lot of hair growth and compared with patches that has hair loss. And they see that that hair follicle is accumulating cells, senescent cells on the area that you're losing hair. So by understanding this, okay, again, those zombie cells are contributing to a unhealthy environment on your scalp, on your skin, and this is leading to the signs of aging in your hair or on your skin. So 2 years ago, we started to research if our molecule S1 peptide would reduce or prevent senescent cells on hair follicle cells. And indeed, it showed that we could also decrease inflammation and reduce the accumulation of those senescent cells. So we created this product that's a serum, water-based, so very easy to use, does not leave your scalp greasy or your hair greasy. And it delivers our peptide to the scalp. And on a clinical study, this one up to 6 months, because the hair growth cycle takes time. We saw that after 3 months, there was an improvement on hair density and hair thickness, and was even more prominent after 6 months. So after 6 months, we are seeing an increase in 40% of hair density and 40% of the thickness of the hair.
Wow.
And we also evaluate the scalp microbiome. And what's interesting to see that the scalp microbiome after 6 months of using our product, and mainly because we have some prebiotics on the formula as well, it was balancing to a microbiome that promotes hair growth. So we brought this to the market April this year, and we're very excited on the enthusiasm of our customers on trying this product and taking more ownership. This product is mainly for the ownership of the prevention, because we are all losing thinning. We are all experiencing thinning hair with aging. You remember like your hair when you are a teenager, and today, no matter like if you're 30, 40, 50, you don't have that full hair that you had when you were younger. So the aging process is happening in the scalp and is leading to thinning. So this product is here to help prevent and to regain the hair thickness and volume.
So to slow down that process, because it's happening either way, but we could slow it down, and that's what the
Exactly.
products are doing. Yeah, I haven't tried the hair one yet. I'm gonna get that one. That sounds
Yeah.
like a good one. You mentioned pollution earlier in the conversation, how that affects senescent cells, aging, skin health. What about light pollution, like artificial lights? When you're constantly behind artificial lights, like I am right now, is
Yeah.
that affecting our skin health as well?
I mean, some sorts of lights more than others. They can impact your skin because the wavelength length can like have some impact on the skin. Blue light is the one that's more known to cause skin damage, and so a lot of like times the whole day on your screen and things like that can be contributing to skin aging. So in some ways, the artificial light is also contributing, not as bad as a UV, high exposure of UV, but it's also damaging your skin. And sometimes, for instance, some types of sunscreen similar 2 hours, it has a broad spectrum of protection and can protect as well for blue light.
Oh.
So it's a way that you can, when you have like days that you're the whole day immersed on this screening zone, you can protect using some type of sunscreen as well.
Oh, interesting. I didn't even
Yeah,
think about that. So you're saying I could use your OneSkin sunscreen not just when I go outside, but when I'm around these blue lights all day, and it'll protect me. Oh, that's a good
yeah,
tip. I'm gonna start doing that. You might
yeah.
see me on my one of my videos with a little bit of a white face because I'm just kidding. But no, that's a great idea. It's a great tip.
Yeah,
Speaking of the light though, there's also photobiomodulation red light therapy. Is
yeah.
that beneficial for the skin at all?
Yes, so red light can activate collagen production, and it can have benefits to your skin if used like properly. If you have a good source, if you're using on the right way, you can see benefits of red light.
Okay, I love red light. I'm a big fan of
Yeah,
red light. I use it all the time.
yeah.
What are some of the red flags, with those who are buying skincare products? Are there any red flags that, this might be toxic, it might not work? Are there any things we should be paying attention to? The ingredients, lack of scientific literature. Share some of the red flags out there.
I think that for me, the number one, it's looking behind that brand and looking like for what's the research behind that product that's being launched. The ingredients, yes, there are some red flags there, but sometimes it's hard because when we see an ingredient list of a product, it does not contain the concentration of that ingredient. So sometimes it's like hard to determine if it's on the safe or not safe zone. But that's why I'm more prone to be like, there is research behind that brand. There is any type of science or any type of like clinical study, any data in that brand or who is behind that brand. I think it's the best way to approach a product when you're wanting to buy. And this is not only for skincare, anything
Yeah,
that you're trying to consume. Uh, I trust more brands that has data behind than one that does not have it.
me too. I do as well. Is there any way, any recommendations you would share for testing our cellular age? You mentioned that we have our biological age. So I'm 40 years old, but my cells are a different age, and I want my cells to be a lot younger than my actual age. And any methods that you would recommend testing the age of our actual cells?
Yeah. So there are a lot of like tests out there that are either based on epigenetic changes or based on some glycation that you accumulate on your blood. So you can do that to assess your overall biological age. Here at OneSkin, we developed a molecular clock specifically for the skin tissue, but we don't offer this to our customers. We use as an internal tool for our research because mainly for assessing the biological age of your skin, at least on the protocol that we have, we need the full thickness of your skin. So you need a skin biopsy, which
Mhm.
we don't want to be doing skin
Yeah,
biopsies all
no.
the time. So we use to assess and validate our products, and it's based on epigenetic changes. But there are also others that measure glycation on your blood, and
Mhm.
I think there's not only one clock that is right or wrong. Usually, it's a combination if someone is tracking a lot of things on their health.
Okay. Yeah. There's two companies out there that test like telomeres, the
Telomeres.
DNA.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's the glycan age testing actual glycans. I think they're all great and valuable. It's cool that you do that test. You're right. People are not going to do biopsies all the time to test that. That would be a problem. They already have trouble like pricking their finger. Imagine having to get a biopsy.
Yeah.
When I don't watch a lot of TV, but when the TV's on, because my mom watches it sometimes when I have dinner with her, all the skincare commercials, at least all the ones I've seen, talk about hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid. It's like the buzz term for all skin
Mhm.
anti-aging products. Is it all hype? Like, give me some insights on hyaluronic acid.
Now, hyaluronic acid is it's not that hype, but it's very good to know what it's doing on your skin. So, high chains of hyaluronic acid, what it will do is like help maintain the moisture on your skin because it creates a chain on top of your skin, which avoids the water to go through the skin barrier. And then that's very beneficial because it's improving the skin barrier function, but it's not solving the problem. As you are using the product, you're feeling that your skin is more hydrated, but what's causing the damage on the skin barrier in the beginning with is not being changed. So having hyaluronic acid on your skincare routine, and it's in our products contain hyaluronic acid.
Yeah.
It's good, but it's not deaccelerating the aging process, or it's not helping to prevent the aging process. So a lot of the cosmetic products, they act more as these makeup products where you will apply and you feel your skin better because of reason A, B, or C, but you're not like really making your skin act as a younger skin. So you're dependent a lot on the use of that product to have that benefit.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, thanks for breaking that down. I wasn't aware about all of that.
Traditional supplements like capsules, tablets, powders, and gummies, and even nutrients from food typically don't even get into your cells and get you the job that you're looking for. Some people call this expensive urine, where you spend all this money on supplements and you end up literally flushing it down the toilet. So how do you know if the supplements you're taking are actually getting into your cells and giving you the job that you're looking for? Well, there's an amazing technology called liposomes. Liposomes are microscopic spheres that actually bypass digestion and deliver right into your cells. It's one of the best delivery systems for nutrients outside of getting an actual IV. And the cool thing about these liposomes is you could take them with you when you travel, take them at your home like I'm doing right now. I use a company called Live On Labs. They have incredible liposome products, and I have two right here. They're lipospheric B complex and they're lipospheric vitamin C. And here's how you take it. It's very simple. I'm putting it into about 5 ounces, maybe 4 ounces of water. I'm also grabbing their vitamin C. I'm doubling it up and putting that into this water as well. And you just want to mix it gently because you don't want to damage the liposome and the nutrients. You just want to mix it like that, and then you just drink it. And you could actually get an entire carton of their B complex for free if you go to liveonlabs.com. That is LIVON labs.com, or click the link in the notes down below. Add the B complex carton to your shopping cart. Add any of their other products as well, and apply the coupon code Azadi25. And then you just click submit, check out, and you'll get this shipped to your door. Check out Live On Labs, check out their amazing products, and I know you'll feel a difference just like I do.
I have a question that you may or may not know the answer to, but I'll ask you either way. I'm not a fan of fish oil. I talk about how I'm against taking fish oil. I think a lot of people overdo it. A lot of the fish oil out there is rancid. But I've known just by observing that the students that I work with that take a lot of fish oil tend to burn quicker from the sun, tend to have more skin that looks like it's aging, versus those who don't take fish oil have a harder time burning and their skin looks better. Any insights to that? Any thoughts regarding fish oil and skin health? And if you don't, it's fine. I just thought I would ask you.
That's very interesting because I will look about it.
Okay.
I've never seen this correlation of fish oils, omegas with more sunburn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm intrigued now because
Yeah.
usually those fish oils are bringing the lipids that are part of our extracellular matrix of the cell, like it's somehow benefiting you. Why it could increase sunburn, I don't know the answer right now, but I'm curious to look and do some research and dig into.
Yeah, if you
I can
find something.
with my opinion later.
Yeah. If you, whatever you find, send my way.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of people they take a lot of fish oil. I remember reading a study from the National Institutes of Health, and it said the average like 6 foot tall male, which is a pretty big person, they only require about 7.2 milligrams of EPA each day, which is not a lot. And one capsule of fish oil on average is like 1,000 milligrams of EPA and also DHA, and people take 2-3 capsules. So it's this super physiological overdose. I think a lot of people overdose on the fish oil. So I'm curious to see if you find something, because I have a hunch that it's causing some issues.
I'll research and I'll let you know.
Thank you. Okay, we talked about a few of your products. The ones that I'm using personally, I'm using the what is the facial cleanser, the body topical supplement. That was your first one, I think you said that you created.
Yeah.
the body, and
No,
then
the first one is the face one.
oh, it's
The
the face one.
was the
Okay,
face, and the body came right after that.
got it. And then you have the eye one.
Yeah.
Anything else in the product collection line that we didn't talk about, or anything else that you're developing in the future?
No, we have developed this very straightforward. We call essential products for a skincare routine where you can clean your skin, you moisturize, and you apply sunscreen during the day. At night, you don't need sunscreen. So these are the main products. The reason why we created the eye is just because the skin around the eye is aging faster. And for some people that are not experiencing or yet the acceleration of the aging process around the eye, they can use only the face. Is safe to use. It has benefits to the skin around the eye. It's not that you need both, but if you already accumulated more damages, if you are like a more 40 plus, probably you will have more benefit if you use both products.
Okay,
Yeah.
makes sense. I'm going to ask you a question here. I'm going to give you 3 scenarios. All right. Which of these 3 scenarios will lead to rapid aging faster at a skin level? Okay.
Okay, let's see it.
Smoking cigarettes, tobacco cigarettes every day, eating processed sugar every day, or the third scenario, eating processed vegetable oils, seed oils every single day.
Oh my God, the three of them are bad for your skin.
I know they're all bad, but which one do you think is the worst out of those 3
One
options?
is the worst. I think the smoking is still the number one
The
worst.
smoking?
Yeah, yeah.
Why is smoking bad for your skin?
It's because it's creating damage on your overall body systemically, and it's also going to your skin. It's just general, like more toxins in your body compared to the other ones. But then, yeah, then after that, the processed sugar, the processed sugar will depend on the amount and how much spike you're giving to your on your blood as well, because it's that spike that can lead to some of them like binding to the proteins.
Mhm.
But yeah, I would say smoke's still the number one because it's so bad for your overall health.
It is, yeah, and the seed oils, I know it's kind of a tough one, right? Because
It's
you're right,
also
with the
inflammatory, very inflammatory. So
they're
it's a
all
tough.
inflammatory. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right with the sugar, right?
yeah.
If you have more muscle mass, you get less of a blood sugar spike. Or you could have a blood sugar spike, but go walk, do exercise, and kind of blunt that, and you
Mhm.
could mitigate the damage. With the cigarette, the smoke, the aldehydes, the damage, it's hard to overcome that with a walk or a workout. But the seed oils, the processed seed oils, I don't know. Those stay in the body for a long time. Like the half life of linoleic acid is 680 days, 2 years. So
Yeah,
I don't know. I would probably lean. I would say, I'm not saying this for people to smoke, but I would say the seed oils might be worse just because they stay in your body for such a long time. But don't do any of them. Don't eat the processed sugar. Don't smoke the cigarette, and don't eat the seed oils. Unfortunately, Americans do all 3, which is a sad thing to see.
yeah. The
That's
best is avoiding the three of them.
and
That's
avoiding the trio. And that's if you just don't do those 3 things and take your OneSkin, you're gonna look great. You're gonna feel great. You're gonna anti-age. So yeah, it's just a fun conversation to like get your thoughts on that.
good.
I'm gonna ask you the final question here as we land this plane. Before I ask you the final question, I'm just gonna let my audience know again. If you want to get any of the OneSkin products for 15% off, whether it's the eye product, the whole body product, the facial product, the hair product that you mentioned, it's oneskin.com. That is spelled out ONE skin.com
Dot
slash
co.
freedom
Dot co. Not
dot
dot
co,
com.
not
Yeah.
dot com, dot co. Thank you for correcting me. Oneskin.co slash freedom. And the coupon code is freedom for 15% off. We'll drop that link down below for the YouTube and also for the podcast. Before I ask you the final question, anywhere else you want my audience to go?
Go to our website and subscribe to our newsletter because we share a lot of content, not only about our products, but about skin longevity, overall longevity. We share data that we're getting in the lab. So it's very informative. And also follow us on the social media. We are on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn. So all the platforms,
All the platforms.
whichever is your favorite, we are there.
At it's at oneskin.co is your
Yeah,
Instagram, correct?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I see here. Final question is about it's about a supplement actually, and so I have this brand new book that's by the time this is released, this is going to come out because it comes out May 13th, and in chapter 10 of this book, I talk and it's called Metabolic Freedom for those listening. I talk about a supplement, Alessandra, called vitamin G. And vitamin G is anti inflammatory. It helps to increase oxytocin, lower cortisol. There are many studies showing that people who take vitamin G have healthier blood pressure levels, healthier blood sugar levels, healthier immune system. They live longer, they're happier. Vitamin G is gratitude. I call it vitamin G, the feeling of gratitude. And I always end the conversations asking my guests what they are grateful for. So I will ask you today, Alessandra, what do you have vitamin G for today?
Oh my gosh, I have vitamin G for so many things because I'm so lucky to work and be passionate about what I do. So I'm so passionate about the science we developed at OneSkin, and this level of gratitude on something that you need to do daily,
Yeah.
every single day for
Yeah.
multiple hours.
Yes.
think I think it has benefited my life because since I started this project and I understand more about aging longevity and I'm passionate about the topic and I work with the topic, I feel that Alessandra today is much healthier than Alessandra from 10 years ago. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity to learn more about longevity and to work on this space.
I love it. How do you say gratitude in Portuguese?
Gratidão.
Gratidão.
Yeah,
Did I
it's the
say it correct?
hard word for
That's a hard one for a gringo.
for
Gratidão. Yeah, I always have trouble with that. Yeah.
gratitude, mais fácil.
Gratitude. Yeah. Well, obrigado. Thank you for the amazing conversation. If you enjoyed that conversation, be sure to check out my recent interview with Jess Berman, all about how to remove rancid fats like seed oils from your body so you could feel like a rock star.
It's so esoteric. How can you think about your cell membranes, but the importance, that role that the cell membrane has? Because it's not just the cell membrane, it's all of our organelle membranes.